The following program is a PodcastOne.com production.
From Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch, this is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Now, here's Steve Austin.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Steve Austin Show. I'm coming to you from the mean streets of Los Angeles, California today. When I say I'm coming to you from the streets, I ain't lying. I'm driving in rush hour traffic right now. It's about 5 p.m. I had a meeting in Beverly Hills, California, and right now I am en route back to my house, 316 Gimmick Street in Marina Del Rey, and there is traffic like a mug up in this city. And I tell you what, I've been cut off about one too many times. I've had a gut full. I damn near wore out the horn on my car already, and I'm just about sick and tired of this damn traffic. It's almost like that Charlie Daniels song, Still Inside Gone. When he came back, that's an old song, probably most of you guys don't remember. But, hell, I've been used to being in a little bitty town called Hartwell, Georgia, filming Redneck Island. Putting my seatbelt back on, I had to get in my pocket. I was over in that little bitty old town of Hartwell, Georgia, and come back here to this big city, about 13 million people over here, and half these people don't know how to drive. And then the other half are driving Priuses, and they don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, so getting back in traffic has been a real process as far as getting used to the stress and BS that goes with life in Los Angeles. They call this place the City of Angels. I ain't seen one damn angel since I've lived here in 11 years. Well, let me take that back. My wife is an angel. Maybe that'll score me some points when I get home. Kristin, I called you an angel on my podcast. Okay, bye. I'm going to Zumba. Okay, see you later. Anyway, back to the task at hand. I'm driving right now. I'm going right down the road. This is my PG show. It's family friendly. If it was the Unleashed show, I'd be cussing at people and raising all kinds of hell. But since this is family friendly, I'm going to be cool, calm, and collected. And here in a minute, you guys sent me a couple questions. I got some questions I'll answer on the show. It's good to be back here in Los Angeles. I come right back here in the middle of a heat wave. And it's always like that here in L.A. Right when you think the temperature's going to kind of start changing and we're getting close into fall, and we're in October. It's October 3rd or 4th, something like that, and just a goddamn heat-seeking transition comes. I'm switching lanes here. Get out from behind this truck. Get a couple of scorchers in here, and it's been about 94 degrees the past few days, so it's hotter than hell. And now I'm in traffic. And I was at a meeting a while ago at United Talent Agency, the people that represent me, my agents, UTA. And when I pulled up, there's a parking meter there. And it's the kind of parking meter that takes credit cards. And so I'm sitting there looking at it, and I brought my Zoom H4 and recorder and my microphone. So I said, well, I'll go ahead and start the podcast right now. And I started talking about the parking meter and how, back in the old days, you put quarters, nickels, and dimes into damn things to get your parking spot. These days, you swipe a credit card. Isn't it crazy how times have changed? Anyway, so I got so busy talking about the podcast and the parking meter that I forgot to actually swipe my card before I went into the meeting. Well, the meeting lasted about 2 hours. We're in there talking about all kinds of stuff, projects to get involved in, and trying to make some money to get your ass down the road and stop texting. Damn lady in the Lexus. I mean, I got, maybe you ain't got a life to live, but I do. I got stuff to do. I want to get home. I want to, turn this podcast into Stacy. She's got some things she needs to do. The show got a drop later on tonight for the Tuesday drop date. So, you can sit there at that light all you want to. Just let me by, because I actually have things that I've got to accomplish before the sun goes down. God dang, if there's one thing I cannot stand, and you guys heard me yell about it enough on this show, is people texting at the damn stoplights, texting in general when they're at the wheel of a car. Back to my story. So anyway, I got busy thinking about the meeting, and the meeting lasted a couple hours. Well, and I started podcasting. I didn't like the way the thing started, so I decided I'd, just restart all over again once I got back in the car, and forgot to swipe my credit card. So, of course, once I get out of my lane, lady. God dang. So anyway, once I get back to my car, I get inside, put on my seatbelt because it's the law and it's in the best interest of your safety to wear your seatbelt when you drive at all times. And also because the car that I drive, if you don't wear your seatbelt, the sumbitches start beeping at you and bells going off. And so that's why I wear my seatbelt. But anyway, after I got my seatbelt on, I noticed that I had something under my windshield wiper. What was it, you ask? You know what it was. It was a parking ticket. I got so carried away, I forgot to swipe my credit card. Man, I got a ticket beside me. Hang on, let me see this thing. Look at this thing while I'm driving. I owe the city of Los Angeles, Beverly Hills specifically, the city of Beverly Hills, notice of parking violation, citation number 513-747-485. I owe $58 to Beverly Hills just because I forgot to swipe my damn credit card on the parking meter. $58. You know what $58 could buy? They could buy a lot of stuff. I'll talk about that more on my Unleashed show. But anyway, God dang it, I might as well just went down the road, opened my window, and threw $58 out on the damn road because I might as well. It just wasted $58 because I was too dumb and too stupid and caught up in other things to remember to swipe my credit card on the damn machine. Anyway, hey, what the hell's going on in y'all's life? I hope y'all having a good day. I'm been driving through this traffic, rush hour like a son of a gun, and I tell you what, it's real interesting trying to make the transition, going back from that little sleepy-ass town of Hartwell, Georgia, to the city of Angels, Los Angeles, and all the traffic and everything that it brings. I got up this morning, choppers are flying overhead, sirens going off everywhere. A lady next door just texted my wife, said she got mugged somewhere last night. I don't know where the hell she was. Hopefully she wasn't in our neighborhood, because that would mean our neighborhood is getting a higher crime rate than it's already got. We got security cameras out everywhere. Got them outside the house, got them in the house. Got to find out where she got mugged. I guess me and Hershey, the Wonder Dog, have to get in my Ford Bronco and get back on the streets of Los Angeles and start fighting crime, because I don't know, this city is absolutely crazy and chaotic. Damn it, rush hour traffic is a sumbitch. I took my Suburban the other day to the car wash, and it needed to be washed because it had been sitting out in front of my house the whole 30 days I was gone filming Redneck Island. And I told my wife, I said, hey man, could you start that Suburban every now and then, just keep the battery charged up? And she said, okay. Well, you know, she was busy doing other things, so she forgot to start the Suburban up, and it was dead in the doornail. So I told you guys on a previous podcast, this ain't no plug for Matco Tools, but they got this little red box, and I don't know what's in there. It's obviously a little battery you charge up, and that damn thing is handy as hell. It jumped me off once, and it jumped me off again. So if you get on, go to Matco Tools or whatever, you might want to check into buying one of those for your significant other, especially if your significant other is a female and doesn't get stranded because she got a dead battery. It saved my ass, and you know, since it ain't a manual, you can't push start that sumbitch. So thanks to the little red box that saved my ass that my wife got for me. I think she paid about $99 or $129 for it, but it was well worth it. Just passed by some homeless people over here up underneath this bridge that I'm at, sitting here at this stoplight, man. It's interesting. The city of Los Angeles got a bunch of damn homeless people, and they're everywhere. And they got their shopping carts and push with all their stuff in it. And it's amazing how they survive without no place to live. And some of them just straight up drug addicts. Some of them obviously have fallen on hard times and could use a helping hand. But there's a lot of them you see lined up at these damn methadone clinics all over town. I live over here in the Marina Del Rey, Venice area. Man, they got a lot of methadone clinics up in this mug. I guess half of them strung out on drugs. Now, I can feel for somebody that, you know, needs a helping hand, but I ain't got too much sympathy for a drug addict just because, homie, don't play that. Dude riding his bicycle right there on the side of the road is going to get his ass clipped if he ain't careful. Watching these damn drivers here in Los Angeles. These people can't drive worth anything. I've already had, let me see, 2 Priuses cut me, and this ain't no story either. 2 Priuses done cut me off today, and I jumped on the horn right before I fired up my damn microphone here. I got on their ass, and of course, right there, I was on Santa Monica Boulevard a while ago. I had to jump a couple of people off the line. Now, see, here's the dude on a bicycle, and it's a red light, so he's riding back and forth in front of the traffic, and rather than stopping and putting his feet on the ground for the light to turn green. He's just riding back and forth in front of all the cars. I'm third in line at the light. I'm in the right-hand lane. He's one of these people that can't put his feet down and has to balance the whole time. So now he's going to, God, man, now he just cut across that red light and damn near got smoked by a car. I tell you what, it's times like this, I just got to damn near just shake my head. And you know what? Here's what's going to cool me down. I'm going to put on a little bit of music. You want to know what I listen to when I get a little bit stressed out? I'm going to do this for you right here. Talk to me, Easton Corbin.
She's all over me. I'm all out of control. All over the road.
Don't want to hit,
No ticket.
don't want to cause no wreck.
It's hard to concentrate with.
Her pretty little lips on my neck.
I say, girl, take it easy. She laughs, says it'll be fine. How am I supposed to keep it? Between the lines, yeah, I know. I'm all over the road. I can't help but.
Hey, man, if you ain't never heard of Easton Corbin, y'all need to go check his records out. Hey, you know what? And, you know, to me, I think he's one of the best things going in country music right now. Duke ain't never even get a good break. He's got some couple of hit songs out, but I think it needs to be more on the radio a little bit. Hey, while I'm talking about country music, I was trying to get down to talk to those guys from 3 and 20 based out of South Carolina. And, man, their work schedule and my work schedule never could get lined up, so I never got a chance to talk to those guys. So, hey, man, to all them dudes, man, I don't know when I'm going to be back down in y'all's neck of the woods, but we need to get y'all's ass on the show, because I'd love to hear y'all on the radio more. Y'all got a badass sound and a badass band and all that other stuff. Tell you what, damn, cars, ain't nobody, I tell you what, you know what they ought to do? They ought to just stop putting blinkers on cars because nobody wants to use them anyways. Is it that hard to actually move your left hand and apply your blinker, whether you're turning right or left? It sure would help a brother or a sister out behind you to know that you're going to actually change lanes, or the person coming down the road that you're going to be turning possibly in front of them. I don't think that it's that hard to do. I use my blinkers all the time. I tell you what, man. It's days like this long-ass meeting that I just got back from, and I got to get in shape for the Broken Skull Challenge. But, okay, this dude's got his right, I was going to let him in. Dude put his right blinker on. He's driving a white Camry, Toyota Camry, and I was going to let his ass in because he put his blinker on, and he decided he didn't want to get back in my lane. But it's kind of a day like this. It's 5:20 right now. Y'all all heard that song, that old Alan Jackson song, It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Well, it damn sure is 5 o'clock somewhere, and what I'm fixing to do is go pop a top on a cold beer, and this will be about my last day to drink beer before I got to start getting ready for the Broken Skull Challenge, which we're going to start rolling camera on here in about, 10 days. We're going to start Broken Skull Challenge, so it's going to be a hell of a damn season, and I think we've upgraded a few of the challenges. It's going to be interesting to see the challenges. I've seen some of the highlight reels of some of the talent coming into the show, and I think we're going to have some badass people coming in on the show. Watch, you got my left blinker on. Can y'all hear that blinker? Left blinker on. Made a lane change. It ain't that hard, folks. Driving the speed limit. What's the speed limit on this road? I'm going 40, 45, coming up at a red light. You know, one thing I noticed you see a lot of in Los Angeles, I just got back from Beverly Hills where I had that meeting. I got that ticket. And a lot of Mercedes, BMW, every luxury car you can find is out here. Lexus, Range Rover, I'm driving a Range Rover, BMW, Mercedes, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Porsche, cop car coming up behind me. Nobody wants to get out of his way. Get out of his way. When you hear the cop car, you get out of his way. Guy driving a VW. Cop can't go now. We're gridlocked up in this traffic. Is he pulling that car over, or does this cop need to be somewhere in an expedient fashion? So I'll pull over for him. People don't understand when a cop, yeah, there he goes. See, people don't. Someone get out of this guy's way. Jesus Christ. Damn. Let me get out of this dude's way. So you pull over. You put your blinker on, you pull over. That's what I'm doing. Let the cop go by. See? What happened, folks? This cop got trapped behind a lot of people, and no one would let him by. Make a left turn. Got to think fast over here. I'm pretty close to my house. When you see a cop behind you, an emergency vehicle, ambulance, fire truck, whatever, you get out of the goddamn way. That's what you do. You move out of the way because they got someplace they got to be. Nobody understands that in Los Angeles. They don't know how to use a blinker. They know how to get out of the way of an emergency vehicle. It chaps my ass beyond about anything I can imagine when I see people that don't get out of the way when the cop's coming behind them. You know, if they're going to pull you over, you got to pull your ass over to the curb. But you know what I'm saying. I'm talking about emergency vehicles. This guy was after a bad guy. There's been some crime committed. He's headed down there towards my house. Okay, got this lady in front of me. She's in the wrong lane to make a right-hand turn. Now she decides she wants to go straight. I was trying to jump that other person off the line. Now I'm behind her ass. I was going to go out here and help this cop out. Maybe I should go to the location, offer some citizen assistance in case he gets in a jam. Shoot, I might just swap. You know what I'll do? I'll swing by 316 Gimmick Street, pick up Hershey the Wonder Dog, and go back and assist the officer in case he needs some assistance from an able-bodied human being. I'll wash my damn light. Where's my damn? Oh, I haven't driven this car in so long. I forgot how to wash my windows. There you go. Oh, man. I just did an asshole thing. You know, like when you're right beside somebody and you hit the wash button on your thing and you spray somebody. To that dude beside me, I wasn't trying to do that to you. But since you was in a Toyota Prius, I ain't that worried about it. I just turned on the wiper on my back hatch, and I never can find the control to turn the damn thing off. Finally, I found it. Both eyes glued to the road. Driving down here, I'm going to make this left, and I'll be right by the crib. Finish this show. Y'all sent some questions in. I'm not going to sit here and just ramble about traffic all day long. Y'all actually sent some questions in, and I'm going to answer a few of your questions. Go ahead and get your ass over. You put your blinker on. Damn Kia Soul, son of a bitch. Oh, you know what? Someone sent me a thing on Twitter the other day that was talking about it was the trailer for the last DVD WWE made of me, Stone Cold, the bottom line on the greatest superstar WWF history, whatever the name of the thing is called. Anyway, back a few weeks ago, I was telling y'all some of the movie mishaps that I've been a part of. And I told you all that story about when I was promoting Tough Enough, which wasn't actually a movie, but it led to me having to film a movie with a torn rotator cuff, severely torn. And then I got it surgically repaired after the movie. Well, when I was watching that footage, I remembered every time and every scene on that bottom line DVD, I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. Because when they filmed that down at the Broken Skull Ranch, I was just recovering from rotator cuff surgery, and I think they had cut on me about 7 days prior to making that DVD. And so my left shoulder's atrophied, and if you watch every scene, I might point with my left arm a little bit, but basically I kept my left hand in my pocket because I wasn't even supposed to be out of my sling yet. That's just a random story I thought I'd throw at you guys while I'm sitting here trying to navigate this turn signal here, stoplight signal here. Dude crossing the road with the basket. I was going to try to make this left-hand turn here. Come on, buddy. All right. Go around the dude with the shopping cart. People are so damn stupid around here. It is unbelievable. Can't drive to save their lives. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, that was just a little tidbit of information about that DVD because I was watching that and I looked kind of out of shape in that DVD, but I wasn't out of shape. It was the fact that I just had a major surgery with about 8 screws and 2 staples on my bicep tendon. So that's a little information for you. But anyway, I got some questions you guys sent in. I'm going to answer some of those questions. And I think one of the things I'm going to do also when I get home is I'm going to crack a top on a beer and see what kind of beer I got in the refrigerator. I think I got a Rogue 7-hop ale, and it's an IPA, and I got another selection. What else am I going to drink? Anyway, I'll figure out what I'm going to drink here in a minute.
You're listening to another classic episode of The Steve Austin Show, only on PodcastOne.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more. And Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's simple. Go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
All right, everybody, here's a little continuation of the podcast. I'm sitting here at 316 Gibbon Street. I just rolled up on my house, and I'm walking around. My wife has a microphone in her hand. I said, hey, join in with me on this podcast, so I got something to talk about and turn into Stacy here in about 30 minutes. So it's the first time you guys would have heard from my wife after her fall in Lake Hartwell on the dock. And I just walked in, and she's fixing to go to Zumba. When are you going to Zumba? 15 minutes?
Yep.
Traffic out there is pretty bad. Let's see, what time is it? It's 5:35 as we speak. So you're going to leave at about 5:45, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, here we are. I'll tell you what a crapshoot podcast this is. Sometimes it is what it is. I got caught off guard, Kristin. I got home, had to do that early conversation this morning, 6:15, for the
early.
Wendy's barbecue pulled pork sandwich, which is available nationwide to the barbecue inaccessible places in the United States of America, and this is a good thing. But I had that decision, Kristin, I was telling the people earlier on the show, where I could go ahead and start drinking coffee and get up, or make myself a Bloody Mary and go back to sleep. And since I've been, working pretty hard on that damn show, I figured it'd be in my best interest to make a Bloody Mary and go back to sleep. So I was able to sleep till 11 a.m., which is like a world record for me.
Yes, it is.
But anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about you. How have you been after the people have seen the picture that I posted on Twitter where you fell off that dock? And let's go back and go through that night, because me being type A personality, ADD, had to show you everything from the get-go. And you just got in, you had some spaghetti, and we just poured you a glass of wine, and I opened my first beer, and we went down to the dock. And we were on that right side, and then I was going to
Do we have to relive this? Honestly, I've got PTSD.
Anyway, you took the shortcut. You were going to step across, and you stepped in that hole of water.
It turned out not to be such a shortcut.
And when I turned around, I threw my beer down, and I said, where the hell are you? Where the hell are you? And the third time I said that, then you popped up, screaming hysterically.
Right.
And scared the hell out of both of us.
Yeah.
And you hit your head on the pier, on the backside of your head.
My head is completely healed.
Yep.
My leg is not.
Now, what's the deal with the leg? Because, it was just scraped.
Yeah, I just took off so much skin, and it was on the shin bone.
Yep.
It just takes a little bit longer to heal.
Yeah, because he's ain't got a lot of blood flow going right there. The thing about the scalp wounds heal quick because there's so much blood flow up there.
Oh, okay.
So that's one of the deals. Then you had a nasty bruise on your right tricep.
Oh, yeah, my forearm.
You still got a little bit of that. I came home, Kristin, but you're okay, right?
I'm fine, yeah.
And remember, I almost called 911.
Yeah.
And you were so panicky.
Yeah, I was panicked. Geez,
I said, well, like when I told you, I said, well, you said, should I go to the doctor? And I said, well, yeah, because, Liam Neeson's wife, hit her head on the slope.
Well, I did follow up and go get a tetanus shot.
Okay, now I called my doctor,
to.
Jimmy, our doctor.
Yeah.
And, he recommended you get a tetanus shot immediately. And you decided to err on the side of not getting a tetanus shot. Then you were feeding our dogs Hershey, Shona, and Moolah, and you dropped some food.
I dropped one little kibble on the floor, and I knew it was going to end in mayhem, and lo and behold, it did. Shona, being the alpha female, decided to regulate on Moolah, the puppy, and they got a little scrap. And in the meantime, I'm trying to break it up, and I haven't even had my first cup of coffee yet. I look like, there's a fog following me into the kitchen, and all of a sudden I break up the fight. I get bit in the process. They didn't mean to. got another wound. So then I decided, because my arm was hurting me so bad throughout the day, I better go get it looked at. And it turned out I had a little infection. Got some antibiotics, and I got a tetanus shot. The tetanus shot hurt worse than the dog bite. It lasted for 5 days.
You didn't tell the whole story there, Kristin, because I got a text. And you said, you told me about getting your hand bit trying to break up the dog fight. And then you said, what should I do? So I'm thinking, I'm in Georgia. You're in California. What do you do? I said, go down to the urgent care. And I said, you're probably going to need a tetanus shot. So what I do? I called Jimmy, our ace in the hole. I said, Jimmy, remember the accident that happened the other night when Kristin hit her head on the dock? She didn't want to get a tetanus shot. And I sent him the pictures that you sent me. You got bit right on the palm of your hand on the outside wrist.
Right.
2 pretty good punctures.
Yeah.
And you said there's this pain creeping up my arm.
Yeah, I thought I had nerve damage, and when I told the doctor that, he looked at me like, really?
So finally you got your ass a tetanus shot.
Yeah.
So you're good for about another 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. How come you don't ever listen to me or Jimmy when we try to look out for you and do the right thing?
Well, I did listen to the doctor.
Okay, so you end up getting a tetanus shot.
Yeah.
So now how's the hand and how's the wrist? You 100% healed up?
I'm 100% healed.
Well, let me tell you something about my day. I made that early-ass phone call this morning and then lollygagged around, and I didn't get a chance to go to the gym, did I?
No, you haven't gone to the gym.
No. So anyway, but I had a good meeting with UTA, and then traffic was so damn bad. There's a bunch of cops out today, and the cops trying to get by, and they got the sirens on, and nobody in this town. Okay, y'all, listen to this, people. Kristin, you're driving down the road, and an emergency vehicle, be it an ambulance or a fire truck, is coming behind
Or
you.
a
What do you
police
do?
car. You pull over.
To
but
the
in
right.
L.A., nobody pulls over.
Yeah, and so there's a cop, and instead, I got it right here on the Steve Austin Show. You're going to hear it firsthand. Pull over when you got an emergency vehicle. Now, it's one thing if a cop's pulling you over. You pull over because you're going to get your ass ticket for doing something stupid. But some of these guys are in a hurry, and nobody pulls over.
Well, what gets me is that when people see a siren, instead of pulling to the right, they stop in the middle of the road. Well, it defeats the whole purpose of allowing the emergency vehicle to pass, because you just clogged up the whole roadway.
Yeah. So, there's someone, to you self-centered assholes out there that refuse to get out of the way, there's someone way up in front of us, wherever the destination may be, that requires medical attention ASAP. Like I was cutting the promo earlier about the person who didn't want to go at the red light when it turned green because they were texting, and I had to jump on my horn at them because I told them, hey, I got stuff I actually got to do. Now, you could probably sit here and just sit in your damn Toyota Camry or whatever they was driving all day long and just be fine with it, but not me. I got stuff to do. You know what? I'm going to rephrase that. Even though it's a family-friendly show, I got shit to do. I just had a text message just come in from Stacy. Hi, just checking on the show for tomorrow.
Poor Stacy.
And poor Stacy. And she got a little smiley face right there because she's such a good mood all the time.
I think you should send her back a sad face.
I know. I'm going to send her back a sad face, and I'm telling her I'm involved in a one-man plus one-woman Cluster-Muck, and the podcast is coming ASAP. And it ain't really...
You don't use emojis, so you can't send her back that.
How do I use an emoji, and why would I want to?
It's like another keyboard on your settings.
Yeah, I know, but you got to get that installed, right?
You could send a whole text with just symbols.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, what would I text her? Like, what emoji would I text her?
A sad face.
Okay, now is that going to explain to her what's going on with my current situation? You're about to go to Zumba. I ain't got crap for a damn podcast other than me yelling at traffic on the way home and talking to you about falling in the water and getting bit by a dog and getting a tetanus shot.
Well, I think there's an emoji for a microphone on there, too. So
Is there, Stacy, bleep this out, is there an emoji for cluster? Because that's the emoji that I need. And you know what? I'm gonna invent an emoji for that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put my you know what I'm doing right now? Traffic. It wasn't really that stressful, Kristin, but it was a good excuse.
But you make it stressful.
No, but check it out. Always, after I get through with the project, it's usually 26 to 30 days, but it's intense towards the end.
Oh, yeah.
With all the contestants there, getting through all the paces, learning all the challenges, the copy, and doing the things that you got to do, and working with elements like water, rain, human beings, and the wind, and all the elements.
Yeah.
Things happen. So the last few days were a little stressful. I wasn't able to hit the gym like I wanted to. So being in the traffic,
Well, you did spend like 3 hours at the gym yesterday.
Well, I mean, I needed to, I'm on track, man. I mean, I did like I was talking on my podcast, I did chest, shoulders, and tries.
For your comeback?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm glad you said that before. I got 4 minutes to talk to Kristin before she goes to Zumba. I was talking to Rick Drayson on a podcast a few weeks ago, and me and Rick were just talking about Gold's Gym because that's where we met. And Rick Drayson was the guy that created the Gold's Gym logo and the World Gym logo, two of the most iconic logos of all time. And I told Rick, tongue-in-cheek, that I was getting back in shape to make a comeback to go to Gold's because I didn't want to show up at Gold's like a fat tub of lard. So people misconstrued that, and it's been making headlines all over the place that I'm trying to make a comeback to the world of professional wrestling. I'm not trying to make a comeback. I was kidding, and I just said I'm making a comeback to go to Gold's Gym.
Yeah, because you have to be in shape to go to Gold's Gym, I guess.
Oh, man, I'll tell you. I was just telling the story about when I blew my shoulder out. I've been telling about movie mishaps, and I filmed that one movie with a torn rotator cuff. And then they came down to film that WWE DVD on Stone Cold.
Oh, yeah.
And that was 7 days after surgery. So I had my left hand in my pocket the entire time because it was supposed to be in a sling, and it was in pain. So I was eating Vicodins while we was filming. But I was coming back from that shoulder injury, and I was trying to kayfabe it. All these years past now, I'm talking about it. But I was trying to keep it on the down low. But when I was trying to make my comeback, I was still training at Gold's Gym. And that particular day, I was training next to this chick at Gold. She was training shoulders that day, too. Well, this chick was pressing 80-pound dumbbells. 80 pounds. I mean, I think I had some 50s in my hand because I'm coming back from a major shoulder surgery. But I said, that was kind of a little blow to the ego. So, what do? The chick beside you's pumping 80 pounds, for reps. Seated dumbbell shoulder press. Same thing I'm doing. So what do? If you're thinking smart, change body parts. I said, you know what? Maybe I won't train shoulders today. I'll move on to arms. That way I ain't going to get it smoked by this chick lifting more weight than me.
Well, there's some pretty built females at Gold's Gym.
Oh, no. Saying there's some pretty built females at Gold's Gym is an understatement of the year. There's some jacked up chicks at Gold's Gym.
Yeah, I was trying to be nice.
Yeah, no, I mean, and they're putting in hard work.
Yeah.
And they're putting in the time, and their nutrition is right, and they're consistent, and they've got the right intensity. My intensity was there, but due to the fact that there was a healing process going on, I couldn't push the poundages I was used to pushing, so I switched body parts.
Well, when all else fails, it's really good people watching.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you know what? Speaking of gyms, and I know you got to go here in about 2 minutes, but I was training at that little Total Body Fitness in Hartwell, Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a good little gym. Shout out to Total Body Fitness in Hartwell. But it's a key club. They got a magnetic key. You just swipe.
Right.
And you go in 24/7. Honor system, I don't know if that'd work in LA.
What, are you going to take weights home with you?
No, I know, but I got cameras rolling.
Okay.
But, the thing about it was just a different training environment for me, and finally, that last night I was in there doing my warm-up. I do about a 20-minute pre-core elliptical warm-up now. And after all these years, you telling me I should start warming up.
Yeah.
I do, and it's helping.
Yeah.
So anyway.
I don't know how you just start lifting weights cold.
Yeah. Well, I know, but now I'm warming up.
Okay.
So, when the dude came in, I give him, hey, what's up? I don't know this guy from Adam, but it's about 9 p.m. at night, so I just give him a head signal because that's what you do when someone comes in. And then,
A head signal?
No, just a hand, just, hey, what's up? Recognize.
Oh, okay.
Because it's etiquette.
All
just
right.
say, hey, dude, check it out. Hey, what's happening? A friendly hello.
Yeah.
Because if you just mad dog a guy or don't say nothing, I think it's kind of rude. There's a lost etiquette that goes into the gym. And so it reminded me the last day I was training over here in the facility that we train at, there's this guy. He's back there doing pull-ups, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know, but it drives me crazy when people make so much noise.
Oh, man, and this was a place that was conducive. I always hate those people who yell like a sumbitch when they're at the gym. Sometimes it's warranted, all depending on the kind of weight you're throwing around. Like, if a dude's got a pair of 180 or 200-pound dumbbells, and if he's dropping those and dropping them pretty hard, I get that.
Yeah.
But when you're just throwing 40s down, that's not acceptable. And like even I'd let out the occasional, hey, I was doing hang cleans.
Okay.
And so I had some pretty good weight on there, and you get off, hey, when you're pushing for that last rep. But this dude was just screaming. And I hate when you go to the gym and you have
and
the screamer.
He was doing pull-ups?
Yeah, Shona, stop it. He was screaming like hell, just doing pull-ups.
Maybe he was singing and you didn't realize.
No. The dude was screaming. It was
Could
pathetic.
have been listening to Meshuggah or something.
Hey, someone sent me a text message. Someone sent me an email the other day asking me about Meshuggah. I want to go to the story real quick before you go to Zumba. Now, I was talking about homeless people a while ago. There's a lot of homeless people in L.A. And me being from Texas, I wasn't used to homeless people when I got out here from South Texas. And you had a bunch of homeless people in your house where we used to live until we moved over here.
Yeah.
And they would stay out in the back alley behind the house.
They weren't in my house. They hung out in my back alley.
In the back alley.
Yeah.
And so, I kind of had some sympathy for these people, and you didn't.
No.
And, why not?
Well, it wasn't that they were just homeless. These people were drug users, and there was prostitution going on back there, and they'd leave needles. They would throw needles in my yard and crack pipes, and they would...
Yeah, when they started throwing the needles in the crack pipes in the backyard, that's when it kind of started getting me, because we got the dogs back there.
Yeah, and they get loud.
Yeah. They get back there and they start getting high and they start, it's loud talking. But still, I had a soft heart coming from Texas because I didn't know about the homeless people. So, Kristin, we've always had 3 dogs. And so Kristin would pick up the dog shit and she would scatter it in the back alley.
Well, along my fence. So
along her fence line.
So they wouldn't sit on my wall.
Yeah. And then she would be out there watering. We had this gigantic bougainvillea vine back there, and she'd back there watering the plant, but she would be squirting the water over the fence onto the homeless people. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I mean, could you do anything else to run these people off? Yeah, she could. We had a studio in that house back there and had a badass sound system with some big speakers. People are going to
get a bad idea about
No, you're an international sweetheart. Okay. I wouldn't have married you if it had been any other way, honey. A global icon and a national treasure.
Okay, Steve.
I'm vouching for you.
Okay.
So not only did she put the dog shit in the alley, spray the water over the fence, then she had the nerve, the gall, the sheer audacity to turn on Meshuggah at full volume. And if that don't run a son of a bitch off and make him want to find a home, nothing will.
The dog poop didn't work and the water didn't work, but Meshuggah worked.
Meshuggah worked. And again, I say this, I don't want to come across as cold-blooded and callous for all the homeless people out there. Some people are truly unfortunate and have fallen upon hard times. But these were the people that were just drug heads and throwing syringes and crack pipes.
Well, because there was one of those drug centers, those methadone clinics.
I was talking about the methadone clinics. I pushed the stop button so many times. I don't know if I talked about the methadone clinics or not on this show, but I think I did cover the fact that, we got all the damn medicinal marijuana places, the methadone clinics, and all that other BS. So it's absolutely insane. But anyway, okay, Kristin, you're okay from your fall at Lake Hartwell.
Lake Hartwreck is my new name for it.
Yeah, she calls it Lake Hartwreck. And then you got your tetanus shot for your dog bite.
Yep.
And now you must ride off into the sunset and go do your Zumba.
Yay.
The Steve Austin Show. The Steve Austin Show.
So anyway, my wife has gone to Zumba. She'll be back in about an hour and a half. I have started the relaxation process, if you want to call it that. I'm decompressing after spending a little bit of time in traffic. All day in traffic from being back here in Los Angeles from Hartwell, Georgia. And when I was in Hartwell, Georgia, a guy gave me a mason jar full of apple moonshine. And I didn't drink the apple moonshine for a long time. I had it for I had it damn near 4 weeks. That last night when we wrapped shooting Redneck Island, I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and give this stuff a try, see what it's all about. So anyway, turns out, because I didn't know the sanitary process or the sanitation process, if it was good stuff, bad stuff, run through a radiator, someone just gives you some liquid, what could be in it. So, I'd kind of sip it here and there, and, it didn't kill me or nothing. So anyway, I got off that stuff the last day I was in Hartwell. We're just kind of reflecting. They had the wrap party over there in Livonia where the operational headquarters was, but I was 15 miles away in my little lake house. So I was just kind of kicking it. I had some Sweetwater IPAs in the freezer, and then I busted out this watermelon moonshine. I said, you know what? This is some damn good moonshine. Got a pretty good little buzz off of it, and I was just kind of chilling. I started off on the dock, And then ended up in the driveway. I had my little sound box playing some Eastern Corbin out there in the driveway. And when I got ready to pack up all my bags of stuff and get ready to head home, and I had 3 big-ass heavy bags, one of which was that damn Keurig coffee maker, which broke on me after about 50 cups of coffee. Now, to their credit, Keurig is sending me a new coffee maker. Just when I get their coffee maker, I send them the one that I purchased back, and I think I keep the carafe and a little drainage gimmick. But anyway, they're making good on their end, so it was working up just fine and making good coffee. I don't want to throw them under the bus. But anyway, I had all those bags along with that big-ass bag with that coffee maker in it, and I said, you know what? Can't waste this good watermelon moonshine. So what I did was I got me a little water bottle, poured the water out, and poured the rest of that mason jar into a Dasani water bottle and bootlegged that son of a gun all the way back to California. So I'm sitting here in front of my Pearl Beer neon clock, 316 Gimmick Street. The title of this podcast is going to be called Discombobulation. Word of the day, discombobulation. That's 6 syllables. So I got watermelon moonshine on my left. I've got my laptop centered up in front of me. I got my Zoom H4n recorder. Got my iPhone on silence mode. And I've got from El Segundo Brewery, I've got their Blue Pale Ale. It's called Citra, and that's what I'm drinking. Citra. It's a damn good beer. If you're in the Los Angeles area, check out some beer from El Segundo Brewery. Pretty good stuff. Swig of beer for the podcast, man. And in the name of discombobulation, you know, if this does not meet my quality standards that I set for myself in the podcast genre, hey, man, it's guerrilla at best. Man, driving through that traffic, all that BS, the meetings, the early morning radio call, hey, man, it's all in a day's work. But I'm still just trying to get my feet back up underneath me, so it is what it is. Nonetheless, some of you will listen to this and say, oh, yeah, Steve, I know where you're coming from. You scrambled up, transition, trying to get everything done, boom, you got to turn in a podcast. Others will listen and say, Steve, you're crazier than a shithouse rat. And whichever one you said, you would be right. Sometimes I think I am crazier than a shithouse rat. And yes, this is a family-friendly show, but I think you can say that on a family-friendly show. Can you not? If you cannot, please send an email to questions@steveaustonshow.com and let me know your feelings on that, because I want to know exactly where you draw the line at family-friendly, because, you know, back in the day in the WWE, when Stone Cold was raising hell and doing everything that I did, obviously those were one of the S words, was one of the ones I'd stay away from. You know, you could say sumbitch and hell and ass and all that stuff, but you stayed away from that word. But I want to know what your version of family-friendly show is. If it's absolutely zero cursing, man, because, I mean, I got to be able to have a little salt and pepper, because just organically that happens. Certainly on the family-friendly show, I'm never going to drop an F-bomb. I don't think that would be family-friendly at all, unless it happened super organically or was a hell of a story that warranted the F-bomb. Got to draw the line somewhere. So, hey, if you ain't got nothing to do while we was talking about the Mercedes G-Wagon, if it's any good or not, or if you like it or not, or I want to know where you stand on your level of family-friendly. Because I don't want to, even pretend that I'm in the same business demographic as Disney. And I think even Disney kind of pushes the envelope a little bit, don't they? But anyway, send me some feedback. I'm sipping on moonshine. Swig of moonshine for the dude in Livonia, Georgia that brought me this stuff, and swig of beer for the El Segundo Brewery, making a damn good beer called Citra. Go check it out if you haven't checked it out before. Hey, y'all dig this. I recently got an email, questions@steveaustonshow.com. Get this. I'm in to make a lot of money. Let me know if you guys have heard from this person, because I'm fixing to make listen to the story. You tell me how much money I'm going to make. It says, Dear friend, and this is to undisclosed recipients, strictly confidential. Dear friend, my name is Mr. Zarifa Oseni. I'm the Bill and Exchange Manager of African Development Bank here in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, West Africa. I have a business proposal in the tune of $15.5 million, and he puts in parentheses, $15,500,000. And after the successful transfer, we shall share in a ratio of 40% for you and 60% for me. Should you be interested, please contact me so we can commence all arrangements, and I will give you more information on how we would handle this project. Please treat this business with utmost confidentiality and send me the following. 1, your full name. 2, your phone number. 3, your age. 4, your sex. 5, your occupation. 6, your country and city. Kind regards, Mr. Zarifa Aseni. Well, I got this, and it went straight to my spam department of my email, but I frequently check my spam department of my email. Hershey's rattling around over there. I always check my spam department of my email just to see if something inadvertently went in there. Obviously, this was supposed to go into spam, but I started thinking about it. Dude knows me from nowhere. He wants my full name, my phone number, my age, my sex, my occupation, my country, my city. He's the one that sent the email, so he don't know who the hell is he sending this to. Now, I don't understand this. This deal is worth $15.5 million, and is labeled, or it starts off as, Dear Friend. My name is Mr. Zarifa Aseni. Okay, now how you know I'm your friend and you don't know nothing about me, but now you want to do a 60-40 split of $15.5 million. That's 15,500,000 ducats up in this mug, and you going to split it with me 60-40. And you got to know all my pertinent information. You don't even know my sex, my age, my phone number, but you all of a sudden I'm your friend. So I sent back an answer to Mr. Zarifa. And I said, Mr. Zarifa, how do I know this is an honest deal? I would feel more comfortable with a 50-50 split. Ain't heard a word from Mr. Zarifa yet. Anyway, you get all kinds of spam in the damn mail. I got another one here, 3 million pounds. This is out of Cote d'Ivoire, someplace outside of England, and they want to do they want me to take a 15% donation and then 85% to raise some money for this. So yeah, I got a $15.5 million deal on the table and a 3 million pound deal on the table from another spam email. So you got to figure 3 million pounds is probably what, $5 million? Let me check my bulk email, see if I got any more offers. No, I ain't got no more business offers up in here. Let me go back to my inbox. Got any new things here? Well, here's a damn email just come to me right now. Hey, Steve, so I've been hearing a lot about you possibly returning to WWE for one more match. A couple of questions I have. Who are you to face if you come back? A couple people coming to mind here. CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, John Cena. And you really thinking about coming back? Can't explain how awesome it would be for my son to see you at Texas Rattlesnake one more time. He's only seen you wrestle on DVDs and on the WWE Network. Thank you, and keep doing what you're doing. The shows and the podcast are awesome. Boy, I tell you what, this podcast, I don't know if it's going to be awesome, but it's a podcast. And he labels himself a humble working man. And that's who I send this show out to, the humble working man out there, trying to pay those gimmicks they send in the mail called bills. When I said I was making a comeback, as I said with my wife earlier, I'm talking about making a comeback to Gold's Gym. It was tongue-in-cheek. I ain't planning on making no comeback. And CM Punk, as far as an opponent, damn good one. CM's badass. Brock Lesnar, you kidding me? 290 pounds of twisted steel and wrecking appeal. Yeah, that guy's crazy. He'd be a great opponent. John Cena, a living legend at this point. It'd be great to work with John Cena, but I ain't planning to come back. Don't want to entertain the thoughts of saying I'm planning to come back, and so it is what it is. Let me check another question here you guys sent up in this mug. Here's the show and the thank you. What are you thanking me for? Okay, hang on. Anyway, let's go to another few questions. Here we go here. One from Adam. And Adam's coming out of the Canadian Rockies. Someone in Canadian Rockies listening to the Steve Austin Show. He says, 1, do you think that WWE will ever bring in TNA talent? If no, why not? Well, I think they should. I mean, there's some good talent over there. There's a couple of cats over there that I see potential all over. I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want to put the jinx on nobody. But there's some... And I think for a while there, it was speculated that people would not bring anybody from TNA over because they wanted the FCW camp, the training facility in Orlando, to start cranking out talent. But, man, if you got a chance to bring in a couple of cats who have a little bit of history with TNA but have got some years in the business, and these guys are veteran workers, to me, you don't have to really dump too much money in getting these cats on television. I mean, they're already semi-over, or at least they have a name, or if they come up with a different name for trademark reasons, the fact that they're veterans, and everybody knows what time it is anyway. So say you bring in a guy like a James Storm. I'll go ahead and throw one out there. I think the guy can work, and I think he's got a pretty damn good look. So is he a spring chicken? No. But can you get a couple of years out of him? Hell yeah, you could. Bobby Roode, a couple of years out of that cat. AJ Styles, man, that guy's probably, man, in regards to the cruiserweight high-impact style that guy works at, don't know that there's anybody going right now that could top him. Those are three names right off the top of my hat. Oh, if I went one more, I mean, Samoa Joe. Hey, man, maybe Samoa needs to tighten up the physique just a tad bit to get into WWE waters. But you just brought in Kevin Steen. Guy was probably 10, 12 years younger than Samoa Joe, but I always wanted to see Joe in a WWE ring. He told some great stories with a lot of badass cats, had some badass matches that I've seen. So to go back to the email here and stop rambling, yeah, I think they should bring in a couple of the TNA talents. Anytime you can bring some veterans in and get some veteran workers on television, I think that's a good thing. And you can rebrand them, rename them, do whatever you got to do. And it's not a major investment, in my opinion, because I've heard, word on the street about, we're going to spend a lot of money to get this guy over or to get him into a place where he can draw money. No, you ain't got to do that. Just get him on TV, and the rest will take care of itself. You got a thin roster. You got a bunch of guys hurt. Ain't going to hurt nothing to bring a couple of vets in to, help that in-ring product. And, honestly, it's in a war of attrition, bring in some more depth to that talent pool. Number 2 question. Why do you think John Cena gets so much heat from the fans? Seems to me it's gotten to the point of people booing him just for fun. I think he might not get as much credit as he deserves because his match skills might not be as technical as some of the other biggest superstars such as yourself, Bret Hart, etc. Hey, man, John Cena can work his ass off. He needs to be in the ring with a damn good worker to have a damn good match. But the fact of the matter is he's a number one guy, and he's been a number one guy for a long time, going on 10 years. And sometimes, people just want to see a little bit of competition at that top spot. You can't fault John Cena for not having no competition. The guy shows up. He works hard. He works hurt. And he shows up. He puts himself on every show that he can get himself put on. And he comes back from injuries sooner rather than later. So if you're going to build a roster, John Cena is one of the guys. I don't give a damn, and he's probably, John's 35, and no telling how many more years he's got left in the tank. John Cena is a superstar. John Cena is a future WWE Hall of Famer. So why he gets so much heat, it's funny because people love to hate him and they love to love him. And whatever you do, you respect John Cena. And I'm not going to talk any more about this. I'll go on to the next question because I got a lot of respect for that kid. And I ain't got no reason to blow smoke up nobody's ass because it doesn't make a shit. And it just is what it is. But when you are a top guy and you've been a top guy and you know what it takes to stay on top and you see that razor blade that he's walking on, that one kind of in between being the ultimate babyface and the ultimate heel, but he'll never turn heel, it is what it is. But again, for a guy to go out there and compete each and every night and make all the towns that he does, unparalleled in this day and age. Steve, number 3, what do you think about TNA's use of Kurt Angle? To me, they screwed up almost every chance they've had with the former WWE superstar. Kurt Angle would be at the top of that list. I listened to your podcast with Kurt, and he's very humble about it. Personally, I think Kurt should have been dominating the roster and been TNA champion many times over, giving him the opportunity to put other guys over in that top spot, as I think Kurt can make anyone look good. What do you think? Well, man, I tell you what, I knew Kurt blew out his ACL. He's been on the mend for quite some time now. Hadn't seen anything out of him lately. Saw him cut a promo the other day on television. Kurt Angle again, I've always said this many times, fastest guy I've ever seen catch hold of the pro wrestling business and turn into one of the best workers that I've ever seen. That being said, I don't know who's booking down there. No one ever wants to take claim for the storylines. Everybody's always passing the buck around there. Swig of beer for the working man. Kurt Angle's a badass worker. But, you know, I don't think they ever really treated him like the star that he was. They could have booked him a little bit better than they did. I can't go into the particulars of it right now in the frame of mind that I'm in. But make no mistake about it, when Kurt Angle hangs up his boots, he'll go into the Hall of Fame. If Kurt Angle doesn't go into the Hall of Fame, then Stone Cold Steve Austin ain't got no business being there either. Now, am I saying he's Stone Cold Steve Austin? No, I'm not. But I'm speaking to the respect that I have for what he brought to the ring and how good he was in the ring when it come time to put on a show, put on a match, and cut a promo. Kurt Angle is outstanding in every single regard. So it is what it is. TNA could have booked him better, and that's the bottom line. Let's take another question here. Well, now here's an interesting question because this is a dude from India. I get a lot of emails from the country of India. I got a big following over there, and I have had for quite some time. And I've never been to India. Well, it's question number one. This is coming from Asans. And he says, number one, have you ever been to India? If you haven't, please do. I'd love to hang with the toughest SOB in the world. Well, you know what? The WWE has been to India on many occasions, but they started going, I think, after I'd already left the company. Or if they were going before, you know, when I was there, we never toured in India, or maybe I was down with an injury. So I have not been to India. Number two, do you like the band Meshuggah? I'd love to know that because I'm a hardcore Meshuggah fan. Assange, my wife is a fan of Meshuggah, but she used to play Meshuggah, as I stated earlier in the podcast, to drive away the homeless people who were throwing syringes and crack pipes in our backyard where our dogs were. So she digs them. Me, I like music that's kind of got a hook and a groove to it. And not necessarily the hardest core guy in regards to metal. I like the rock and roll sound and stuff, again, with a hook. And, growing up, I was a big fan of Great White, Boston, Def Leppard, Ozzy Osbourne. Led Zeppelin had a couple good songs. I was a big AC/DC fan. Except Scorpions. Now looking back, I mean, the Beatles were way ahead of their time, and I got into the Beatles, and then you go to the kind of hip-hop things, some of the bands I named with Chris Collins the other day. But the Meshuggah just was a little bit much for me. And so the third question, he says, where would you like to own a nice home? Away from the USA, and why? Well, Hassan, I don't think I'll ever own a house outside of the United States of America, but there's two places that do come into mind. One place is Australia. I was there in 2006, 2007, whenever it was, filming a movie called The Condemned. Some people say it was one of the greatest movies ever made. I was a part of that movie, surprised didn't win any awards for Best Actor, but I fell in love with the country of Australia, and we were on the Gold Coast, in all seriousness. The beaches were beautiful. The sand was white. The ocean was blue and green and clear. And it was a place that hadn't been messed up yet. Like we've tarnished and trashed a lot of the waters in the United States of America. So Australia would be that one place. And other place I would go would be Mexico. When we were filming the three previous seasons of Redneck Island, we were in Mexico. And we were about 45 minutes out of Puerto Vallarta one year in Punta Mita. Phenomenal. The second season, we were in La Paz, phenomenal. The last year, Manzanilla, which was awesome. The beaches are absolutely beautiful over there. My wife just got back from Cabo. Cabo has a bad riptide. I wouldn't go to Cabo just because I'm not a water person, but if you are going to get in the water, last thing I want to do is get out there and have to fight a riptide and a great white shark at the same time. I think even though I am Stone Cold Steve Austin, a great white shark and a riptide may be my undoing. That being said, Australia and Mexico, but at the end of the day, I'm never leaving the United States of America. This is where I'm born, this is where I'm from, and this is where I aspire to be. All right, here's one. Hey, Steve, I love your show and I tune in every week. Most people can recall where they were, who they were with, or what they were doing when they first heard about the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Do you remember where you were when you first heard? Since you were on the road during that time, did you experience any travel delays or disruptions? John in Columbus, Ohio sent that question. John, I can tell you exactly where I was. I was in Houston, Texas. We were fixing to do Monday Night Raw the next day. And we're at a hotel room, and the phone rang. It was my cell phone, and I answered it. And we just made a long road trip in from somewhere. I can't remember where we had worked the night before. And I answered the phone, and it was my mother. And my mother was crying on the other end of the phone. And she said, I'm just calling to check on you and see if you're okay. I didn't know where you were because, WWE is based in Stamford, Connecticut. We spent a lot of time in New York City. Basically, that's our backyard. So she figured, just because that's where we're located, I could have been in New York City, which I very well could have been. And so anyway, I said, why? What's going on? And she goes, they're bombing, they're attacking the Twin Towers. I didn't know if you were in New York City. She said, turn on the TV. And I said, okay, I'll call you right back. And I hung up the phone, and I turned on the TV. And I saw the end of the attacks when I saw, the highlights and everything as it was going on and the airplane striking the Twin Towers. And I was like, oh, I'll never forget that. One of the craziest, scariest, it's a thing that you watch and you can't believe it's actually unfolding in your very eyes. And then they showed, some of the close-ups of the people as those buildings were collapsing, and the debris and the smoke and all of the stuff just drowning out all the cameras and people running from all the impact. And on the backside, all these years later, to hear about the first responders who have died because of inhaling, all of that stuff. And man, I tell you what, I was in Houston, Texas. I was in a hotel. I turned on that television, and I'll never forget it for as long as I live. And, now that 9/11 has been so many years back, I always thought that, that was the defining moment that would pull America together as one and stand united. And I watch and look at some of the stuff that's going on now, and I don't know how united we are. And I won't go off on a political rant about that, but man, I'll tell you what, if there's any time right now we needed a stronger military, is now. Do we need a weaker military? No. Won't go into a political tirade. I'm going to stick with the question. Houston, Texas, and I think we called off Monday Night Raw that next day because it didn't feel right to Vince. And I remember talking to him on the phone. And I remember when we decided to go live, man, I guess it was the next week, or was it 2 weeks? I can't remember when we went live. I guess it was the next week maybe. But I just remember talking to Vince, and he called me, and he goes, hey, I just wanted to talk to you. He goes, we're going to go live. And I said, man, do you think it's okay? He goes, yeah, Steve. He goes, we've got to move on. People have got to move on. We've got to keep going. And he meant that in a positive regard because, yes, life does go on. The major hiccups, hassles, and the bad things happen. And then at some point you recoup when something devastating happens. And this was beyond, I think, anyone could have ever comprehended or thought that something like this might happen. But it was time to go back to work. And I remember having that conversation with Vince, and he was right. And it was time to go back to work. And we're in the entertainment business. And at the end of the day, it's all about entertaining people. But with respect to everything that had gone on, I guess we delayed the show for that 1 week or whatever it was. And while everybody, came to grips with what was going on, we sorted through all the stuff. And, many people, lost their lives, and many people lost loved ones within the company and within, people that I knew. So that's where I was. Didn't mean to go into a long-winded spell. But with that being said, I'm going to come right back after this. I'm going to pick my match of the week off the WWE Network. I want to appreciate you guys hitting the download button and supporting me, coming back from Hartwell, Georgia, getting back into Los Angeles, turning in to just a mismatch of a show, and it is what it is. And I'm going to bring you a home run on Thursday. I'm coming right back with my match of the week from the WWE Network. TrueCar.com is changing car buying forever. Yes, every day TrueCar users receive negotiation-free guaranteed savings. Some features not available in all states. In the first 6 months of this year, over 275,000 cars were sold by the TrueCar Certified Dealer Network. TrueCar users save an average of $3,221 off MSRP. When you're ready to buy a car, just follow these 3 easy steps. First, go to TrueCar.com and find out what other people paid for the car you're looking for. Then, register at TrueCar.com to see upfront pricing information and lock in your savings. The third step is simple. Just print out your TrueCar savings certificate and take it to the TrueCar certified dealer for a better, hassle-free car buying experience. Remember, everyday TrueCar users receive negotiation-free guaranteed savings. Save time, save money, and never overpay. Visit TrueCar.com today. That's TrueCar.com. All right, everybody, here's my match of the week. Turns out it ain't a match of the week. I was looking for my iPad, which I haven't even unpacked yet from my trip down there in Hartwell, Georgia, but I got on my iPhone where I have the WWE app installed, and I see playing now, it's the Monday Night Wars. And all of a sudden, I clicked on that just to see, okay, what were the Monday Night Wars were all about. Of course, I know what they were about. We were doing heavy-duty battle between WWF at the time and WCW. But what was going on in our neck of the woods was Vince's corporate champion, who was none other than the biggest movie star in the world today, the man known as Dwayne Johnson, and then known as The Rock. And as the program started off right there, I said, okay, as soon as I knew that Rock was a corporate champion, we were going to be doing battle. We were going to be crossing paths. And, of course, me and The Rock lit it up immediately. There was just chemistry and respect there that was off the charts. And then you have a John Cena promo coming up. You know, he's talking about the rivalry, and you had the two best in the business doing battle and cutting promos against each other. And so I'm not going to give you a match of the week. I'm telling you now to go to WWE Network and just punch in Monday Night Wars, because that was when the business was at an all-time peak, the most money made ever in the history of the business, and both companies, WCW, which was being led at the time by Eric Bischoff, of course, WWF, now, led by Vince McMahon, and it was a fight to the death, literally, and everybody, both companies, were putting their asses on the line each and every single week, and everybody, whether you was on WCW side or you was on Team WWF, I mean, it was bragging rights. It was a war. We were trying to, kick their ass. And we got our ass handed to us in the ratings for over 2 years. And then we finally turned the tide. And it ended up with Vince McMahon buying WCW for pennies on the dollar, putting Ted Turner out of business as far as the wrestling end of it goes. So watch the Monday Night Wars on the WWE Network and see what it was all about and catch some of the badass action that I was a part of alongside The Rock, DX, Triple H, Undertaker, New Age Outlaws. All those guys were laying down some great stuff. We had a hell of a damn roster. Mick Foley, I don't want to forget anybody. I'm going to leave a few names out. But everybody was so important and integral in us finally winning the Monday Night Wars and making it was a be-all, end-all to a hell of a time in the business of pro wrestling. And I also got a lot of feedback over the past few weeks over the Austin era. I don't know if there was a special on there. I haven't looked at it yet because I was busy doing Redneck Island. But people said that there was something on there called the Austin era, so I got to check in there and see if that was actually a show. But again, that's it. But anyway, that's my match of the week. It's the Monday Night Wars on the WWE Network. It's $9.99 a month. It's damn well worth it. I've been on it. I've been digging it. I got it on my iPhone. And when I was doing an hour of cardio, I got it on my iPad, and I put it on that little gimmick, and I just watch wrestling matches while I do my cardio. But with that being said, I want to thank you guys for hitting the download button twice a week and dealing with the Cluster-Mucks that sometimes I present. I got 2 shows. Today should have been unleashed because I could have cussed my head off, but it's family-friendly. Send me in your emails. Let me know your standards in regards to the language that I use on this show. I'll drop an S-bomb every now and then, but I'll never drop an F-bomb on this show. But I also want to make sure that I'm paying attention to your barometer and what you want your kids to or not hear, but be realistic, because your kids are out there in the real world and are hearing real everyday language. So do it in respect to that, not in respect to something that is not totally unattainable. Anyway, I got a couple of shows, Family Friendly Tuesday, Unleashed on Thursday. Subscribe to both. Don't send me an email to questions@steveaustonshow.com and say, I can only find the even numbers. I can only find the odd numbers. There's two different shows. Two entirely different shows. Steve Austin Show, Steve Austin Show Unleashed.
Thank you for joining us for another classic episode of The Steve Austin Show. Please leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and tell your friends. For more Steve Austin Show, go to PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.
Hey, this is Adam Carolla. Let me tell you about my podcast. We do it every single day, so you can subscribe, and there'll always be a fresh one waiting for you. It's about 2 hours of topical topics, and news, and guests, and comedians, and, of course, my own vitriolic take on just about everything that's going on in the world. Plus, we get a lot of really interesting, notable people who come in. We'll get politicians, we'll get tastemakers, we'll get stand-ups, we'll get authors, we'll get pundits, we'll get, I think about covers it all, celebrities as well. And we'll do some really interesting interviews with them. You can get The Adam Carolla Show wherever you download your podcast.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy, Big Brother Jake, a.k.a. Jake Warner, my government name. Check it out. I host a show called the Big Brother Jake Podcast, and I've taken my talents to the biggest and baddest platform on the planet. That's right, baby, PodcastOne. My show is unique as I talk about everything. Life, sports, entertainment, being a single dad juggling several jobs. I'm a hot mess, but it's damn entertaining. Subscribe and review now on Apple Podcasts and listen on PodcastOne or wherever you get your podcasts.